I get to call another friend up at this moment to speak to you and to bring you his heart. You may have read some of his books, Saved by the Light. I'm talking about Brother Dannion Brinkley. Dannion's one of those rare souls who's died and come back to tell us about it and come back to make a mighty difference on the planet through Compassionate Action, the Twilight Brigade, and basically bringing forth a teaching and a way of being that lets us know that love is really what it's all about. Dannion, come on up. This is Dannion Brinkley. He's going to share with you a little bit more about the significance of this particular day. I'm going to need, there it is, the handheld mic right there. Give it up for Dannion Brinkley, my brother.
I heard that Ricky made everyone dance. So everybody take a deep breath and let Agape this night be the rhythm of your love. Because this night, according to a group of people called the Maya, who created a little small calendar that had some unique events to it. One of those unique events was it believed that everything operated in cycles. And it believed that each day there were 5 cycles that went on in your life, interdimensional cycles. And that the absolute end of one era of 5,125.36 years would come to an end. And another 5,125.36 years would begin. And what the Maya said was you begin every new cycle with compassion, the rise of the feminine, the power of a woman, the caring motherhood. So girls, I ask 2 things. Only say it to them twice because they're going to hear it because the rhythm is with you. And girls, tone it down. You will be heard because this cycle's with you. It's a privilege to be here tonight because I love what Agape is. I have so many of you who are Twilight Brigaders, and if you're not, you need to be. But the whole point of this night, Michael and I we weren't tweeting, were we, Michael? We were texting. The transitional point of the galactic phase of the sun aligning to the Earth's galactic equinox was between 2:08 and 2:20 last night. And Michael and I are going back and forth because we're holding that place to catch that wave of a new era that's being born. You're not just here at a night. You're birthing the rhythm of your love with open hearts, caring, and magnificence. Here's a couple of more points about the Maya. I discovered the Maya when I was 18 years old. I wanted to see Jimmy Hines run the 100-yard dash at the Mexico Olympics. And it was a big deal. In between boxing and track and field was ice skating and Olympic diving and water polo, which wasn't too interesting to me. And someone said, let's go see the pyramids. Well, hang. Everybody knows he's crazy. There are no pyramids in Mexico. They're in Egypt. So we got in the car and we drove for 2 hours. And we pulled into this field. And we got out with little lights, and I found a flat something to lay my little bedroll on. And I laid on it, and then that next morning, I was on the platform below the Pyramid of the Moon in Teotihuacan when it had not been excavated. And I realized that everything that I'd ever been taught about history was basically a lie. It was a lie. And I began to look at what cultures were. And 2 hours from Houston, everything we'd ever been taught wasn't true. So I spent the next 3 months roaming Maya land. I saw Cancun when it did not have a paved road. I saw Chichen Itza when it was just sitting in a field with trash. And I rode on a bus with chickens and goats and people on the roof all the way across the Yucatan into Guatemala and Honduras, looking at cities of such magnificence. But here's the Maya. I'm a pre-classic Mayan as opposed to a classic and a post-classic. If you look at classic and post-classic, you realize that it became wars in city-states like Greece, and by the time Chichen Itza was built, they were traders and conquered by the Aztecs and the Toltecs and the Maltecs. But in pre-classic Maya, here's what they said would happen today. That the galactic period would end. This is 5,125 years ago, 3,114 BC. They said in this 5,125 year period, from the galactic period to the universal period, you would see certain changes. What they said that would end at the galactic period, that all things not done in integrity would collapse. Okay? Our religions, our institutions, our governments, how many people trust their banker today? Okay? Think about this. But you got to remember, it was a cycle. We are ever evolving, great, powerful, and mighty spiritual beings with dignity, direction, and purpose, living here to dawn an age, living here to flow with the cycles and the rhythms that come about, and to understand that that's what we're doing. So it's everything that's occurring is empowering. Now think how wild this is. Now, most minds are about this tall, you know, and brilliant. But they said as we moved from the galactic period to the universal period, which is this next 5,125.36 year cycle, and the next 52 years is about the feminine, they said we would move into what's called the universal period, and that there would be no unknowns. There would be no secrets. Now, you know, some people about this tall, down in the jungle with no computers, we discovered Neptune in 1844. The Mayas discovered Neptune in 2240 BC. We discovered Pluto in 1932. The Mayas discovered Pluto in 2240 BC. Their astrophysics and their astrological perspective of lunar and planetary influences on you were incredible. You are living in 5 cycles. Tonight is about love and compassion and hope. And it's about inspiring yourself that you become the flow of your love. Not anything external, but you internal become the flow of your love. And the flow of your love, like that beautiful song we just heard, the flow of your love moves outward into the world because you are the power. We're not seeking in fear. We're seeking in joy to serve and to be supportive of the feminine. You know, whatever they want to do, go along with it, guys. And if they want you to dance, dance. So let me tell you a little more about the universal period. And there would be no unknowns. Think about it. The 3rd largest country in the world is Facebook. Internet, cell phones, Facebook. Think about this. If the book of Revelations was true, and it says in the book of Revelations that the Antichrist would one day be able to speak to the entire world, he could be like the Pope. He could get a Facebook and a Twitter account, and he could talk to the whole world. So when you start to look at where we are and the probable possibilities of where this next 50 years will be, the innovation and the unknowns will coincide. Find integrity. find identity in your spiritual flow. There will be no secrets, everybody. If you look at things like the National Security Administration and the new Defense Appropriations Bill, and you look at Echelon, and you look at data mining by corporations and data mining by government agencies, how much of your business is a secret? How much of it? None. They said the other day that every single word that you say or type or tweet is recorded. Every single key you stroke on a computer is recorded. Everything and everywhere you go, and they say they do it so they can design for you the proper advertising. Verizon just got a patent on a device that if you have a Verizon system will go in your house. It will hear every conversation, every movement. So if you're having an argument with your wife or your husband because he's not listening or you haven't toned it down, Verizon will detect it. And when you go on your Facebook or log on your computer, across the screen will come a marriage counselor. I saw this this Monday. So when you think about people about this tall, living in the jungle, who understood these cycles and these rhythms of what we're doing here tonight, we're catching our breath. We're finding the rhythm of our love internally so that it can flow outward to protect, to ingratiate, to support people's growth in understanding who they are and where they intend to take this. One of the really funny things is tonight, and this is something to watch for, everybody. If you're a conspirologist, and I only became a conspirologist because I saw so many things that were suspect. And remember, if you've ever been dead and you don't die and you don't go to hell, because since I was 5 years old, everybody told me that I was going to hell for sure. And since I grew up in the deep South, everybody goes to hell from down there anyway. So I always figured that the first person I was going to see when I woke up dead was the devil. You know, but it didn't happen. So when you don't die and you don't go to hell 3 times, they missed their chance at me. But what does that make life? It makes life details and entertainment. What are they going to do, kill me? And that's where we need to go, everybody. Get your details in order. And let your love be the entertainment of your heart and the joy of the people around you. The joy that you bring into their life by being strong and brave and courageous and compassionate, loving, and sincere. Because that's what this is birthing. I'm excited to be alive at this time. I'm excited to be a guardian and to be trusted. You know, somebody said, Dannion, why in the world would you ever think that the divine would choose you to come back with the messages that you come back about spirituality, because you have kind of like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde personality? And I said, well, I know the answer. They'd completely run out of messiahs, and they were scraping the bottom of the barrel, and the angels were down at the angel bar doing cloud shots. And probably Gabriel blew his horn and Michael stood up and said, I know. Let's go get some crazy, compassionate, loving, insane people and let's give them the job. I used to say jackass, but since I'm here, I won't say let's go find the jackass and put that on him. And the guy that was interviewing, he laughed. And I said, well, you can laugh if you want to, but that's how all of you got here too. Okay, so now you know why you're here and how you got here. Because you're trusted. I believe two things, and I'll close with this. That you were chosen to come here because the divine architect believed there was nobody more perfect than you to bring the divine's message of love and compassion through this medium into this world than you. Nobody more perfect than you. And then you chose to come. So we would create a duality. We'd create a separation, a so-called polarity, so that the ebb and flow of right and wrong and good and bad can be seen, rectified, and judged as if we were separate from the divine. The Maya never believed they were ever separate from the divine. And they understood the nature of the divine in such a way to understand its cycles that you went through 5 cycles per day. And if you look at what they knew as astrophysics, as astrophysicists, you come to 2 conclusions. Number 1, where would the Maya be? Where would Bill Gates have been if it weren't for the Maya? The Maya invented the 0. And computer language is just zeros and ones. Number 2. Oh, she got it. Okay. And number 2, to be here at this time, in this place, and at this night, you must make a divine commitment to yourself to be the ever-unfolding nature of your love. And you must find a cause. You must find something that when you wake up in the morning, it's just as important to you as that you had to get up, take 2 Advil, hope your back only hurts half a day, and you get and look in the mirror. But at the same time that you're looking in that mirror, you know that you have a cause that depends on you. For me, it's hospice. I mean, where 2 or more gathered in my name, so shall I be among you. So I figured if I was ever going to get close to God, I better be around people who were going there. Because if they say where 2 or more gather in my name, so shall I be among you. So literally the last thing I ever say to somebody when they're taking their last breath, I say, hey, you tell them I'm doing a good job when you get over there. You know what I mean? Because if you're ever going to get a chance to stack the deck, where in the world can you stack the deck? And I need all the help I can get, everybody. It is my privilege to bring laughter. It's my privilege to watch you laugh as we begin to search the divinity of ourselves, become the flow of our own love to the people around us, and realize we have no secrets. So integrity and honesty and staying on time and keeping to your word and finding that deep cause, the thing that drives Ricky and Michael and the Agape ministers, the thing that drives them to be the best they can be, maybe to wear themselves out a little more than they should, but to be the best that they can be. I send you all my love. I send you all my praise and my thanks. I thank you, each of you, for stepping up the plate to see if you can be chosen to be born at this time, to hold a light, to hold a presence, to hold a love, to hold the identity, to be compassionate, caring. Because right now, it's either world war or world peace, and it's on us. I know we'll win because we gathered tonight. And I know we'll win instead of being a prepper, getting ready and living. Think about all those fools that spend $1 million to be in some silo somewhere in Wyoming. And they're all scared to come up and look and see. They'll probably stay there 100 days, and we'll send them love. So take a deep breath again, everybody. And now another secret of the Maya. The only time anything truly spiritual happens is between your 2 breaths. You have 8 sinus cavities. Each one of them represents one of those levels of consciousness. When you breathe in everything around you. That's why you love color. Each color has a vibration and a frequency, and when you breathe it in, before you can let that breath back out, You have to stop and hold it. So I ask you to do this. Take a certain period each day. Breathe in and hold it. 1001, 1002, 1003. And let it out. So that the divine has more time to integrate through the mind, into the brain, into the breath, so that the actions you take carry more of the divine. Reduce whatever causes you fear, which causes you to stop and hold your breath and not breathe. That intensity blocks the divine flow as opposed to a rhythmic pattern. Remember, nothing happens until you hold that breath just long enough for the divine to move its energy, its love, and its compassion so that you breathe out and the actions you take change and influence the world around you. You are doing this anyway, no matter what. But the more that you're aware of that you're doing it, the more deeply, divinely spiritual your nature becomes. And the safety and the trust that the divine will have in you will radiate and guide you at least 50 years if you listen to women when they're talking to you. And I don't think I'll make it unless I come back again, but I don't want to come back, so let it be that from now till your passing, that you give that extra moment and you let this night and this day mark it, the same as the Maya taught, that you're living in the perfect series of cycles, making the perfect difference in your divine loving selves. I love you and I appreciate you, and thank you for taking a few moments to let me into your hearts and your mind. Thank you, everybody.
Dannion Brinkley, the jester for the Spirit of the living God, dead 3 times.
But Mike, alive 4.
Alive 4. Saved by the light.